Buckle up, folks, because we're diving headfirst into the absolute clown show that is modern political discourse, where yesterday's edgy truth-tellers have become today's bootlicking propagandists. Case in point, Bill Burr, once the guy roasting the everyone I don't like his Hitler crowd, has now joined their ranks. Yep, the same dude who used to mock hysterical leftists for screaming Nazi at everything that moves is now here comparing Elon Musk to Hitler because, I guess, making cars and launching rockets is the same as invading Poland. And he's not just tossing out an exaggerated insult. He's actually suggesting the military should do something about Musk. Like, we're living in some banana republic where the government just disappears people for wrongthink. It's like watching a guy climb up a ladder, kick it down, and then complain that he's stuck. But hey, this is what happens when the left runs out of real boogeymen. They start manufacturing them in their own head. So let's break this mess down, starting with Burr's appearance on NPR's Fresh Air, where he said this about Musk.
The rest of us are getting pushed down, and they've politicized the whole stupid thing, and we're falling for it.
And who's the they? Besides the people who eat almonds?
That idiot Elon Musk.
Oh.
That guy, like, he's going to, like, who evidently is a Nazi. Like, I just refuse to believe that it was an accidental two-time Sieg Heil. And he does it at a presidential inauguration. This is why I hate liberals. It's like liberals have no teeth whatsoever. They just go, oh my God, can you believe I'm getting out of the country? I'm just like, you're going to leave the country because of one guy with dyed hair plugs and a laminated face who makes a bad car and has an obsolete social media platform? You're going to leave this? Why doesn't he leave? Why isn't he stopped? What are we so afraid of this guy who can't fight his way out of a wet paper bag?
You can take him on.
Like, why do liberals just sit back and not, they have nothing?
What are you doing?
This.
Okay.
This. You got to speak up about it. You don't just go like, oh my God, what? Like, listen, first of all, it's like, I'm a stand-up comedian. It's not my friggin' job. I'm talking about, like, Democratic politicians. Where is their pushback? They're allegedly liberal. You see this guy do this thing. You know what the end result of this thing is, which all these neo-Nazis, not only are they stupid because they're neo-Nazis, they don't even look at what Hitler did. He ruined their country. And this idiot is going to try to lead us down that road and then play it off and act like he didn't do what he just did. And you can get canceled as a comedian for doing a friggin' Caitlyn Jenner joke, but this ass can Sieg Heil and nothing. Where are all the liberals? Where are all of these white chicks at the award shows that were speaking truth to power? Where are they? Why did they choose to go after comedians and not the Ku Klux Klan?
Oh, how the mighty have spiraled into a full-blown meltdown. The same guy who built a career mocking the pearl-clutching outrage brigade is now reading straight from their script. Bill, congratulations. You've officially crossed the aisle and become a proud, dues-paying member of the Everything is Literally Hitler Club. Hope the meetings come with a participation trophy. Now let's start with the foundation of his meltdown. The claim that Elon Musk deliberately gave a Nazi salute, not once but twice, at Trump's inauguration. This is textbook argument from incredulity. Burr simply refuses to believe it could have been anything but intentional, so therefore it must be true. No evidence required, just pure vibes. Never mind the inconvenient fact that the Anti-Defamation League, yes, the ADL, an organization that never hesitates to call out anti-Semitism, explicitly stated that it was not a Nazi salute, calling it an awkward gesture in a moment of enthusiasm. But sure, let's disregard that and take the word of a comedian who, by his own admission, thinks politicians should be doing more to physically stop Musk. Because nothing says anti-fascism like demanding state action against your political opponents. But Burr's dumb logic doesn't stop there. He then takes it a step further by drawing a completely deranged false equivalence between what he sees as weak liberal politicians and the literal armed forces taking out Hitler. He demands pushback. But what exactly is he calling for? Arresting Musk? Military intervention? A full-scale government takedown of a guy who made an awkward gesture at a rally? If that's the plan, I hope Bill realizes he's not opposing fascism. He's actively advocating for it. Suggesting the military should stop a private citizen over a politicized controversy is the kind of rhetoric that actual authoritarians use. You don't get to LARP as some fearless anti-fascist while daydreaming about government crackdowns on your political enemies. That's some accidental self-reporting right there. But got to get used to it. The left loves them some authoritarianism. He then floats this idea that liberals have no teeth because they're not out here physically stopping Musk. Bill, Did you miss the absolute media meltdown? The week-long hysteria from Democrat politicians and European leaders foaming at the mouth over a hand gesture? The protests outside Tesla dealerships? The academic institutions practically issuing red alerts like Musk just annexed the Suttonland? The pushback you're demanding is already happening. Hell, even random Tesla owners, most of whom probably don't even share Elon's politics, are having their cars vandalized and firebombed just for driving the wrong brand. Is that not enough? What exactly do you want? Government raids? Show trials? A full-blown civil war? Because the more you listen to this guy, the more it sounds like he's just bitter that the backlash against Musk doesn't involve tanks rolling up to Tesla HQ. And let's not ignore the self-contradictory nonsense at play here. Burr rants that neo-Nazis don't even look at what Hitler did because he ruined Germany. Bill, do you really think modern neo-Nazis are just historically confused? That they're walking around sig-heiling out of ignorance, unaware of Hitler's actions? Hitler's atrocities are some of the most well-documented and discussed events in history. So widely discussed, in fact, that you're literally talking about them right now. The reality is the people who support Hitler today do so because they align with his ideology, not because they somehow missed the last century of history lessons. In trying to dunk on neo-Nazis by calling them ignorant, Burr actually softens the accusation because if they're just misinformed, then they're not truly evil. They're just misled. That completely undercuts the outrage he's trying to manufacture. And yet, somehow, that tortured logic is still the setup for his next leap in reasoning. That Musk is on the same trajectory, all because of a questionable salute and a donation to Trump. By that logic, every over-enthusiastic motivational speaker at a corporate seminar is just one bad hand gesture away from launching World War III. Then he drops his biggest hypocrisy bomb. Burr whines about comedians getting canceled over Caitlyn Jenner jokes while claiming Musk is walking away scot-free after literally sig-heiling. Think about that for a second. He's unironically equating social media outrage to state-sanctioned genocide, and yet Musk is constantly under attack by the same crowd that delights in canceling comedians. The real tell here, it's not about the severity of the so-called offense. It's about who they want destroyed. So don't be confused. Burr isn't making some grand moral stand. He just hates Elon Musk and is looking for any excuse to justify it. And let's cap it all off with Bill's hollow rhetorical flourish, where he wonders where all the Hollywood white women went. The same ones who speak truth to power at award shows. Well, Bill, I hate to break it to you, but they are speaking out. Take Sheryl Crow, for example, who took what Elon did so seriously that she filmed herself selling her Tesla and posted it online like some grand act of defiance, because nothing strikes a blow against tyranny quite like virtue signaling on Instagram by selling the car you already paid for. By the way, they're not just opposing Musk, Trump, or whatever villain they've got programmed to hate this week. They're turning political outrage into performance art. Bill just doesn't think it's enough because his idea of doing something involves the government kicking in doors. The bottom line, the entire rant is an emotional tantrum masquerading as moral clarity. It's not about facts, logic, or even a coherent argument. It's about signaling allegiance to the right side of history, while conveniently ignoring that his own rhetoric is way closer to the fascism he claims to oppose. Bill Burr used to be the guy who tore this kind of hysteria apart. Now he's just another one peddling it. Now stay with me, folks. It gets worse because Burr went on this show on Complex and said this.
That right there, the Olympic Village.
70s cross-country shoe, green and white, one of your favorites.
Yeah, I love green.
It's crazy, though, because the country had a moment. They were one of the best-selling shoes of 2023, your favorite shoe.
Oh, they brought it back?
Yeah, they brought it back.
Well, they brought it back a couple of times, and they went with cheaper leather.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because some corporate cunt had to give himself a fucking bonus check at the end of the year. What if we made it worse, but made it look the same?
Yeah.
Then could our pools be bigger?
Not
Free
okay.
Luigi! Let's talk about this here.
Oh, this is just chef's kiss perfect. Bill Burr, the same guy who used to mock performative activism, is now out here randomly shouting free Luigi, as in Luigi Mangione, the guy charged with murdering the United Healthcare CEO right in the middle of a conversation about sneakers. Not exactly the hill most people would choose to die on, but hey, Burr has been on a losing streak lately, so why not double down? Now, nothing says rational discourse like veering from a rant about corporate greed straight into a call to action for an accused killer. It's not just bad timing, it's completely untethered from reality. Imagine talking about shoe manufacturing mid-sentence, then suddenly deciding, hey, Let's throw a shout out to a murderer. No buildup, no explanation, just a random virtue signal lobbed into the conversation like a Molotov cocktail of idiocy. If Burr was actually anti-corporate greed, you'd think he'd spend some time attacking the actual corporations profiting off prison labor rather than capping for some specific guy who just so happens to fit the latest woke martyr trend. But nope. Instead, we get the same tired leftist playbook. Take a violent criminal, pretend he's a misunderstood political prisoner, and act like shouting his name is some bold act of defiance or resistance. This is classic performative activism. Bill isn't making a coherent argument, he's just signaling to the right crowd. The kind of people who scream ACAB while sipping their Starbucks and using their iPhones built with Chinese slave labor. The people who only care about some prisoners if they fit a convenient narrative, while ignoring actual wrongful convictions that don't check the right political boxes. And let's be real, the only reason Burr said this was to get some cheap gasps and nods from his increasingly brain-poisoned audience. He's not debating the case. He's not providing new facts. He's not even pretending to care about the details. It's just a shout, a buzzword, an empty rallying cry for people who want to feel like they're fighting injustice, but don't actually want to do the work of understanding why this particular case doesn't hold up. And that's the thing. Burr used to mock this kind of nonsense. He used to call out the lazy, knee-jerk activist cosplay that made every social justice cause look like a joke. But now he's become the joke. He's the guy he used to ridicule. The one shouting slogans instead of making points. The one acting like he's some kind of revolutionary while parroting whatever ridiculous cause is trending on leftist Twitter this week. So congrats, Bill. You've gone full woke. You're officially at the point where your offhand rants are indistinguishable from the kind of nonsense that gets printed on protest signs held by people who can't explain their own slogans. And the funniest part, this isn't even a big planned speech. It was just pure instinct, because at this point, the grift is second nature. Now say it with me again, folks. It gets worse, because Bill hit the Breakfast Club a few days later, and he, amazingly enough, hit almost the exact same talking points, almost like he was being coached to say this by the people who pay him. I'm looking at you, Netflix. Coincidentally, the same corporation with the CEO who is the biggest donor to Kamala Harris. Damn, I just connected some dots there. Look at that. Maybe this man just wants to keep his job.
Let's say what they need to say.
Well, it's ridiculous. There was a time, post Me Too and all that, speaking to power, all of that shit that was happening.
Check the power.
You know? Remember when something was supposed to happen for you guys and it didn't? Yeah. Because it was all of us just talking? I mean, that's what ended up happening.
No, that's true.
That's what ended up happening.
A lot of white people making a lot of promises that never happened.
Oh,
yeah.
Was it during the Black Squares time or something?
I don't remember. I just remember there was a time that you would be on stage going like, "Can I do this Caitlyn Jenner joke? Or am I gonna get canceled?" Like, it was really this crazy time.
Nah, she was the one transgender you could always make jokes about, and nobody would get mad.
I don't know. I kind of did one on Conan, and then those guys at Huffington Post tried to get something going. Okay, so there was that period, and then like a few years later, this guy sieg heiled twice.
Two of them.
Once in the front, if you missed it in the back, and it's just like he still has a job. That guy still has a job. I don't understand those guys, and this isn't politically. It's just like I don't understand why they're so upset with this country. It's like you're billionaires. I think it's working for you. Like, why are you going and telling everybody, justify what you do? It's like fucking justify what you do. Mm-hmm. That piece of shit car that you're making that the government financed. No,
but
is Bill really having a full-blown meltdown because Elon Musk still has a job? That's the hill he's dying on? Forget foreign policy, forget real-world consequences. Burr's biggest gripe is that a billionaire he doesn't like hasn't been removed from society for making a questionable gesture. This is the guy who used to call out performative outrage. I know I keep repeating myself, but I think it's important to understand how much he has changed into the equivalent of an HR intern fresh out of DEI seminar. Now, Burr compares Musk's alleged sieg heil moment to the post-Me Too and cancel culture era where comedians were terrified of getting axed over edgy jokes. This is absurd on its face. One was a state-backed suppression campaign where people lost careers over tweets, something that Musk himself exposed after acquiring Twitter. Thanks to the Twitter files, we now know that the Biden administration pressured Twitter staff to silence certain users whose statements they didn't like, primarily targeting conservatives. And it wasn't just Twitter. Biden's administration also strong-armed Facebook into suppressing viewpoints they deemed problematic, which became the subject of Missouri v. Biden, a lawsuit that revealed direct government intimidation to control social media narratives. Meanwhile, the other case Burr is ranting about, a single ambiguous hand gesture that, despite the media hysteria, was literally defended by the Anti-Defamation League as an awkward, meaningless moment. But sure, let's pretend like Musk is strutting around a Tesla HQ in a Hugo Boss uniform while comedians were facing Stalinist purges over pronoun jokes. Burr then complains that white people made empty promises during the Black Squares era, implying that nothing actually changed, then in the same breath freaks out that Musk wasn't destroyed over an overblown controversy. So which is it, Bill? Are you mad that cancel culture wasn't real enough or that it went too far? Because you can't sit there decrying the phoniness of social justice theater while also demanding Musk be fired for failing to meet your arbitrary outrage quota. Burr also sneers at Musk and other billionaires for being upset with this country while sitting on piles of cash. Ah, yes. The classic "you're rich, so shut up" argument, which is somehow only ever applied selectively. By this logic, LeBron James should never comment on social issues. Hollywood actors should never endorse politicians. And oh yeah, Bill Burr himself, a multi-millionaire comedian, should never have a political opinion on anything. Funny how that standard only ever applies to the people he disagrees with. Bill then calls Tesla's a piece of shit car. This is where Burr really exposes the lack of depth behind his rant. He tries to paint Musk as a fraud, claiming his company was financed by the government, completely ignoring the fact that virtually every major automaker receives government subsidies, including those for electric vehicle production, which is the same green energy agenda that the left has been screaming about for years. Tesla paid back its government loan 9 years early, while other automakers like GM and Chrysler took bailouts and never heard a peep of criticism from people like Burr. But sure, let's pretend Tesla is uniquely corrupt because it makes a convenient talking point right now. Look, at the end of the day, this entire rant is a textbook example of emotional projection. Burr doesn't actually care about principles here. If he did, he wouldn't be advocating for a billionaire to be excommunicated over a hand gesture while still pretending to oppose corporate censorship. What he cares about is that Musk is a billionaire who doesn't align with his preferred political narrative and therefore must be taken down. This isn't about fascism or justice or even consistency. It's about pure resentment guided as moral outrage.
You know what you just said? You said that Elon still has a job. He's the richest man in the world. There's nothing they can do to him. And that's all he proved. There's nothing anybody can do to him by throwing up when he did that. What do you take from him? He's not Kyrie Irving. He's not Kanye. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, but you keep, I don't know. Listen, I don't know how this shit works. I'm just saying that, you know, if you said the wrong thing as a comedian, all of a sudden you lost your TV show.
But you're not the richest man in the world. If you was the richest comedian in the world, ever.
What I don't get is the amount of veterans that people in the armed services that died trying to stop Hitler. And then this guy comes in, you know, and does that while being an immigrant, too, which is kind of the whole thing. Just none of it like tracks. How you can be the support the troops, you know, America, love it or leave it. And then this guy comes in and gives a shout out to Hitler.
Makes no sense at all.
Yeah, it doesn't. So, I don't know. But then somehow that gets like politicized. I'm not trashing Republicans. All Republicans did not Sieg Heil. That guy did. And I was just amazed that all liberals had was one day of outrage. And they're like, all right, I guess that didn't work. And then we just kind of move on.
Because they realize they can't do anything to him. Like, what do you do other than send out some angry tweets?
What exactly does Bill think should have happened? He keeps acting like Musk got away with something, but what was the crime? Even the Anti-Defamation League, the ADL, not exactly a Musk-friendly organization, said the gesture wasn't even a Nazi salute. So what's the punishment here? Forced exile? Debanking all of his companies? A televised flogging? Burr doesn't even bother making an argument. He just assumes Musk is guilty and then whines that nobody did anything. That's not a point. That's an emotional tantrum. And then Charlemagne drags in Kyrie Irving and Kanye West. What's he even trying to say? That Musk should have been canceled like them? Now let's break both of those situations down. Kyrie was suspended and lost endorsements for sharing a documentary link. The film in question, Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up Black America, was criticized for containing anti-Semitic themes, including claims that Jewish people control the world and that the Holocaust was exaggerated. Now, was it a good look for Kyrie to post that? No. But did he personally endorse those claims or make any direct anti-Semitic statements? Also no. He did share a link, though, without context. It got questioned about it, and instead of immediately apologizing, he pushed back, which led to the full-blown controversy. Nike dropped him, and the NBA suspended him. And he was forced to go through a humiliating public apology process just to get reinstated. Now, Kanye, on the other hand, went on an actual deranged multi-year rant about how he loves Hitler. Those are two completely different cases. But Burr and Charlemagne are throwing Musk into the mix like it's all the same. Is the argument that Musk should have been financially destroyed too? Over what? A gesture that wasn't even confirmed to mean what his critics insisted did? Or are Burr and Charlemagne just mad that, for once, the media outrage machine didn't completely ruin someone's life? Then Burr brings up the military, and this is where it really goes off the rails. He's out here invoking the memory of fallen soldiers to claim that Musk, an immigrant, somehow disrespected the sacrifice by making an awkward motion with his arm. That's the bar now. That's what qualifies as an actual threat to democracy. Give me a break. The people who fought and died in real wars weren't doing it so millionaire comedians could sit around in radio studios complaining that a tech mogul wasn't canceled hard enough. And then to top it all off, he throws in this, I'm not attacking Republicans disclaimer. Right, because nothing says totally neutral like spending an entire segment ranting that one guy should have been annihilated for a politicized controversy. And let's be honest, if Musk had made this exact same gesture at a Biden rally, Burr wouldn't care. He wouldn't be on the Breakfast Club right now having a meltdown over it. This isn't about principle. It's about hating the right people and being mad when they don't get destroyed. Overall, his entire rant is just a mess. No argument, no consistency, just a bunch of frustrated groaning because the outrage campaign didn't get the results he wanted. Turns out the guy who made a career mocking fake outrage has fully embraced it. Guess it was only funny when he wasn't the one screaming into the void. Look, this isn't about one gesture, one man, or even one controversy. It's all about control. Who gets to be outraged? Who gets to dictate the consequences? And why is it that the people screaming the loudest about fascism always seem the most desperate to silence their opponents? The irony here is staggering. The same people who built their careers mocking phony outrage are now demanding public executions for the wrong kind of defiance. So ask yourself, how many of these media manufactured scandals are really about justice, and how many are just means of keeping the right people in check? If outrage only flows in one direction, if rules only apply when it's politically convenient, then maybe the real story here isn't Musk at all. Maybe the real scandal is just how many people are willing to play along. Anyway, you tell me what you think in the comments down below. Have a terrific day. Peace.